Big tech in focus as more members of the so-called Magnificent Seven set to report quarterly results this week, with Apple set to release their results on Thursday. The big issue for Apple? China. The iPhone maker struggling in a region with a resurgent Huawei taking market share amid difficult economic conditions squeezing device sales. For more on China's direct impact on Apple, we have Yahoo Finance's Akiko Fujita. Akiko.
Hi there, Maddie. Yeah, how much of this is really going to affect Apple is certainly going to be a big question here moving forward. The struggles Apple's faced in China clearly reflected, though, in that near 20% drop in sales for the tech giant. Even as smartphone sales with China actually continued its recovery. Now, China remains a critical market, as you mentioned, for Apple, both for revenue and its supply chain. Greater China is right behind Europe in terms of sales, with the region accounting for roughly 20% of its global revenue here. And while Apple has slowly started to reduce its reliance on the world's second largest economy, 156 of its 465 manufacturing sites used by Apple suppliers, that's roughly 34%, were in China last year. And that's according to a list that the company released just last week. There are three key issues that could continue to alter this dynamic, though. Number one, the reemergence of Huawei. You guys were just talking about that with the previous guest there. U.S.-China tensions also a big concern, as well as a pullback in Chinese consumers at a time when we have seen growth slow in the world's second largest economy. Huawei's recent success with the release of its premium smartphone has already started to chip away at Apple's position in the market. Counterpoint research found Apple now accounts for roughly 15.7% of China's smartphone market. You compare that to near 20% it had during Q1 of last year. More concerning for Apple, Huawei right behind it on that list there. Last fall, you also had reports of government agencies, state-backed firms banning iPhones from employees. So there's certainly a number of headwinds that have really been building for the company. Publicly, CEO Tim Cook has said he's committed to China, but Apple has been laying the groundwork to diversify its footprint in the region for some time. Just a few weeks ago, Cook traveled to Vietnam, Singapore, and Indonesia to meet with top officials there to explore additional manufacturing posts there. Apple's also been expanding in India, but guys, China is such a lucrative market for Apple. Tough to see that market being replaced with any others, at least in the near term.
Yeah, Kiko, when we talk about the importance of China for Apple, we also got to talk about the importance of China for Tesla, because that is another name that's on our radar here today. It's another Mag 7 stock that is facing some steep competition within the country. CEO Elon Musk making a surprise visit over the weekend, speaking to officials about autonomous vehicles. Talk to us just about the significance of this and whether or not it's a game changer for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, by the way, he met with a number of officials during this 24-hour trip. The now premier of China, Li Chang, top official over in Shanghai that approved the Shanghai factory for Elon Musk. So he's clearly got an in there in China as well. Now, whether this is in fact a game changer, we heard Wedbush's Dan Ives saying that this reported approval of full self-driving software in China for Tesla is a golden opportunity. Probably too early to say how significant it's going to be for the company, largely because there's a lot of Chinese EV makers that have been chipping away at their own self-driving technology for some time now. In many ways, the market is sort of necessitating this for Tesla. They've got to have this technology in place to be able to compete in such a crowded market. Here's a number to leave you with, though. When you think about Tesla's share of the Chinese car market, that was at 6.7% in the fourth quarter of 2023. You compare that to 2.5% in the first quarter of last year. So that's also slowly been shrinking. Of course, the key is going to be what the price point will be for this software, if in fact it is deployed in China. And the backdrop, all of this, is that they are coming off of their worst quarter in 2 years.